All right, welcome everyone to Fleet live office hours. So this happens.
All right, welcome everyone to Fleet.
Hold on, I'm getting some feedback.
Live office hours. So this happens.
Okay, I had feedback because I had the live stream in my browser window. All right, starting again. Welcome everyone to Fleet Live Office Hours. As you can see, this is not a fully professional production. Happens every 2 weeks. And I am here. Let me double check, make sure everything seems to be fine. Yep. So I'll be here to answer technical questions about Fleet, deployment configuration, codebase, anything you're curious about, I can try to answer. I won't have all the answers, but I'll try my best. I think there's about 10-second delay between the video. And if there are things that are kind of quiet in the chat, then I'll work on a few things. And I believe I'm by myself today, so I'll try my best to watch what's happening in the chat. All right, let's go back and see what we're planning for today. All right, Okta conditional access. We'll just dive in. So last time, hey, yo, Andrew, welcome back. Glad to see you're here. So last time, we kind of talked about doing a POC for Okta conditional access. So basically, if you're using your Okta as an IDP and you're trying to log in from your Fleet managed device, if there's some issues on the device, some policies are not passing, then you will need to fix those policies before being able to log in. So I do have a POC I want to try. And I think we went through this last time. The key point is we are going to be using MTLS, mutual TLS, and the certificate in MTLS is what's going to tell the Fleet server which specific device we're trying to log in from. I think I also, just for my own understanding, kind of drew another diagram to kind of explain to myself how the specifics, how SAML works, right? So a user has some kind of an app, like a enterprise app. They log into Okta. Okta says, oh, okay, there's another factor that you need. So it like redirects the user's browser or their app to Fleet's SSO endpoint. And then Fleet actually performs a device check, builds all the SAML up stuff, signs the AMP SAML response, and gets it back to the user's browser as an HTML form, and that form posts the response back to Okta. And then Okta runs its checks, and then Okta then sends the user to the actual app, right? The app, the enterprise website, or whatever they're trying to access, to actually give them access. All right, so the code changes, the last code changes I made, and I tried them, but I'm not completely sure they're working. Let me see. The last code changes I made was to actually link the user to the device. So I'm using I'm having the MTLS reverse proxy send a header that includes the certificate serial key. In the full implementation, we probably want to see the full certificate. And based on that serial key, I look up the certificate associated with that host. So I'm not quite sure this is all working. I have a message here that gets printed out. So let's try this. I'm going to be looking for this message in the logs. Let me restart this to make sure this was. I'm sure I'm running the latest code, just to double check. Okay, this is recompiling. I think we're in the right branch. Okay, let's run our server. Let me see, where's our server? Okay, our server's here. Our host is going to be this virtual machine. It is passing right now. I think that's okay. It's okay, that's passing. And this is our VM. Session has expired, that's great. So I already have it set up here. So I say, anyway, let's just roll with it. The reason I'm hesitating is because I already tried this. So we have like the certificate. This certificate is kind of already linked to kind of this workflow. So I'm just wondering whether I should do like a new incognito session just to clear that. But I don't think we need to get into those details. But I'll just explain that by default you're going to get like 2 pop-ups because this certificate needs to be linked to the website. It's going to be the Okta, not the Okta, the Fleet SSO website. So that way it automatically gets sent there. And this is done via identity preference. And then this key also has access control. And this pop-up might happen. Well, I bet these pop-ups might happen anyway, because I'm not listing Chrome. Chrome's not listed on one of these. So Chrome is going to pop up and say, hey, do you want Chrome to have access to this private key? All right, let's roll. So first thing, we're logging into Okta dashboard, and this dashboard just has the apps. So this is like a dummy app. So let's go and run this dummy app. We've got this nice this thing that pops up that's telling us we're going to verify with Fleet. So let's go ahead and verify. I see. Client certificate is not recognized or has expired. This is good. This is good. So we have some issues here. Okay. So we got stuff to fix. Let's jump into the code. Client certificate not recognized or has expired. Let me make this better. Client certificate is not recognized or has expired. So we try to get a cert. We are gonna get the cert serial, so I should look in the logs. Serial 30. Serial 30 is, what format is that in? UN64. Okay. Let's look in our database and let me remember where the certificates are stored. So in this case we're using the MDM certificate that just gets loaded when you connect, when you enable MDM on your macOS device. But in the future we'll probably use a separate certificate, so you can use this with or without MDM. Let's see, certificates are stored in SCEP certificates. That's not a great name. I feel like this name should be more like Apple MDM SCEP certificates, or maybe MDM Apple SCEP certificates, because this is kind of generic. So we're looking for 30. 30 is here. Yeah, so there is 30. So let's trace the code, see what's happening here. Get host identity. Okay, it's using the wrong method. Okay, I vibe coded this a little bit. So this is not the right method. This is using the host identity certificate. Okay. Okay, let's proceed with this and see if we can fix this. Okay, I'm gonna do in parallel. I'm gonna let clock code try to fix it and try to fix it myself. Should I check this code in while we're at it? Just in case, yeah, it's a good practice. If you're gonna have AI modifying your code, it's a good practice to check this in. Initial attempt at cert to host linkage. Commit and push. This is my POC branch here. All right, so what's the problem? So this method's is not the right method here. We want to link the skip certificate's serial number to the host. And this is done via we pulled in nano MDM here, so we have it here. So this is okay. We have the PEM, so we have to like extract the PEM and then process it. Push certs. One of these tables, nano cert auth associations. ID, this is the UUID of the device. Let's double check. UUID of the device. Anyone know is that in settings? UUID of the device? That's not it. Settings. General. About. I don't know. System report. Here we go, 40C. System information. 40C. Okay, I do see it here. There's two here. Must be there's two here. There's a bunch here. Okay. Okay. So like the data looks to be there. So this is the right table. Nano cert auth associations. Use nano cert auth associations. There should be existing code in the code base that does a similar thing. All right. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to use two AIs. We're going to let it do something. And then in parallel, we're going to ask another AI. For Apple MDM, where do we link the cert to the host? using this. This is faster because this is indexed. There's a vector index over codebase, so it's going to be faster to get the answer. Establish ID. Okay, I want the method. Yes, I understand. Okay, what did I ask? Where do we? Okay, so I was asking for which Go file in the code base does that lookup. I'm going to work on this maybe 15 more minutes and then maybe switch to another topic. I thought I had this working, so this was just like double checking, but apparently not. It seemed like it was working to me because originally I was kind of doing it in parts. So additionally, I just used the user's email and linked it to the host. And then I guess I added this code, but I didn't actually verify that it was working. I thought it was working. Okay, it's not telling me if you need. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It doesn't know. This is strange. Can you find the file that uses? Let's see what's going on here. This is also doing the lookup. I can do the lookup too. Auth. Okay. Insert. What is this? Get. This looks relevant. Enrollment has cert hash. Has cert hash. Associate cert hash. Okay. I mean, related, but not quite what I need. This seems similar. Get host cert associations to expire. Why to expire? Select host ID. We get the SHA-256. You know, like I feel like I mean, this isn't the right code, right? I'm looking for when an MDM command comes in. Let me write this. When the Apple MDM command comes in that has a signature. It has a signature. Does it have a signature? We need to make sure that signature matches the host sending it. Where is that code? Right? Because I'm just using the Apple MDM cert here, so. Okay, this Claude is taking its time, and it takes a while because it like grabs, right? Just does searches to figure stuff out, so it takes it a while to understand what's going on. We need to extract the certificate hash. Yes. Look it up there. Use the enrollment ID. Yes. That sounds like correct. I was just trying to see if this code already exists and we can just reuse it. certauth.go, looks like that's where it is. certauth.go. It's not very big. Let's see what we have here. We've got enrollment has cert hash. Okay, so once we have the hash, we can use this method. Okay, associate cert hash, enrollment from hash. Okay. Hold on. This is nano MDM. There's something special we do here because our table has a nano prefix, but this doesn't have the prefix. But I want to say somehow we're like adding the prefix to these tables. I'm doing too much modification here. What do we want to tell it? This is taking a little longer than I expected. Nano MDM storage. Like, that's fine. Just feels like it's better to just enrollment from hash. Retrieves an enrollment ID, but what? Client cert has hash key? What are you doing? I can't just arbitrarily change from the serial key to the hash key. Extract the cert, parse the certificate, compute the hash. Yeah, this is something new, X client cert. We do, I believe, have that as well in our MTLS proxy. So I'm using Caddy running in the cloud. So let me double check. X client cert. So I am sending the cert as their base 64. Their base 64. So it's like yeah, like took a different path. Let's double check this code. We get the cert, decode, parse, compute the hash. We have the hash, we save it in a context. That's fine. Then we come over here, we grab it, we get the enrollment ID. the enrollment ID just the UUID? Do we log it somewhere? I think if there's an error, we log it. Okay. It's not bad. Let's try it. I think the recompilation is done, so let's launch it. Let's go back to our VM. Let's double check the chat. How's everyone doing? In case you joined, we are doing testing a POC of Okta conditional access. Access denied. All right, so if we just, I'm thinking here that sometimes, once you log in, like you're gonna stay logged in for a little while. Okta is now gonna ask for a second factor. So in this case, Fleet is acting as a second factor. But since we weren't be able to get in, it should still hit Fleet. Verify. Okay, we got in. Let's look at the logs. Extracted client certificate. This went better than expected. Sorry for the small font. And we're looking for like device health, something like that. Here's the relevant logs. Extracted client certificate, serial hash, looking up host by certificate, found host by certificate, host 9853, enrollment ID. Enrollment ID is the hardware UID, host 9853. Okay, let's double check. 9853, okay. All right, so I showed the happy path. Should I do the unhappy path? That's fine. Let's see, what am I thinking about? Okay, I want to check in the code. Check in the code. Oh, there's another change here I didn't see. Oh, interesting. Up here it's nano, but down here it was not nano. Let's see, serve.go got modified. We're passing in MDM storage, so that's fine. That's just one line change, okay. This is POC code, so cert to device linkage is actually working. There's also this generate commit message with the AI assistant, which is nice actually. I was using it for a while, I guess I forgot about it. We're gonna commit and push. And this doc change that I added, I actually want to push it into a different branch because this POC branch is going to be like temporary. We're not going to merge it into our main code base. But this doc, this additional SAML flow that I added, it's nice to keep it around. I have another, let me see, I'm going to shelve it, switch branches to, okay, I forgot what the branch was. That's okay. I can look it up. More tabs. So we're working on Okta. And doc branch called MTLS reverse proxy. Okay, so I had the instructions here to how to create that MTLS reverse proxy that I looked up to make sure we're actually sending the cert. This is kind of like the reverse proxy config. So I'll just add that doc change here as well, MTLS reverse proxy. What am I doing? MTLS reverse proxy, checkout, unshelve. Edit SAML diagram. I mean, I was thinking of clicking this button, but honestly, this is faster. Okay, I think we're good on Okta. This we're at half an hour. I'm gonna mark it as an X. Okay, so let's talk about another item I had on the agenda, which is OS versions endpoint performance. So we made a bunch of fixes to the OS versions endpoint. OS versions endpoint gets like what OS versions you have, like macOS 15, Ubuntu, 2404, including like 2404.1, right? The patch versions as well. So you can potentially have a lot. And then we added a feature to look up kernel vulnerabilities. And it's possible to have a lot of kernel vulnerabilities. Let's see if I have an example. Let's look at my server. So if I go to software, OS. Yes, so like this. I have two Ubuntu versions. They have 189, 187 vulnerabilities. Now it's possible to have some older versions that actually have thousands of vulnerabilities. And when I'm hitting this endpoint, all the vulnerabilities are listed. So for example, I'm going to reload, I'm going to look here, I'm going to look at the response. Not that one, this one. And you see there's a lot of data. And this is just 7 items. There's 13,000 lines of code here, and we're returning like details of all the vulnerabilities, even though in this specific page, we're not actually showing any details, and we're only showing like the first 3. I wonder how they're sorted. We're only showing 3. So with that background, we made some improvements to speed this up because before it wasn't even really paginated. It was partially paginated. It wasn't paginated when it was going to my SQL database. So it was actually fetching all vulnerabilities for like all OS versions. But we fixed it, but the customer is still saying it's not, still taking like a minute to fetch 20 OS versions. So let's like look through it to make sure there's nothing, to make sure we understand what's going on. Have this endpoint, it's calling a service method, authorize, that's fine. Let's see what's going on here. Opt per page 20. So we default to 20. If page is 0 and per page is 0. Default to 20. mean, this doesn't seem suspicious. I mean, I'm just hesitating because I feel like, let's see, these are uints. Okay, so they're unsigned. So a user could specify per page to be like 1,000,000. That's why I'm hesitating. We're not enforcing that per page has to be 20 or less. A user could specify 1,000,000, and they'll probably get like a 502 timeout or something. Okay, team ID, some authorization to see if this user is authorized to get this team ID. That's fine. Then we do this. We get the OS versions unpaged. Is this a performance issue? I'm guessing no. I think it's just like, I think it's it just reads out a JSON file and parses it. JSON value, unmarshals it. Sorts by OS versions, okay. So when we get it, it's actually sorted, is that right? FMU. I mean, this doesn't look sorted. Oh, I see. The sort is capital letters first. Okay, so there is a sort, even though it's not like, yeah. I can see a customer filing a bug on this. It should be a case insensitive sort. All right, let's take a look at what's actually running here. Select JSON value from aggregated stats where type is this. OS versions. Aggregated stats. Is there only one? Is there only one OS versions in aggregated stats? Aggregated stats where type equals OS versions. Interesting. Okay, these are team IDs. Okay. It is suspicious why I have two items with ID 0. Okay, global stats. Okay, yeah, we have this no team thing. It's not that. I don't think it's gonna come up here. I mean, this is fine. And what is this? Filter global or team ID by teams with SQL filter. I mean, I'm not gonna dive into this specific code, but let's, the bottom line is we're just getting one of these values out of this table, which is indexed by, should be indexed by type at least, yes, is indexed by type. So we're grabbing type, ID, and global stats. Primary ID, type, global stats. ID type, we are specifying ID. Yeah, like this lookup shouldn't have any issues, right? Okay, so we got OS versions, we parse them, and we're getting all of them. And this is kind of these OS versions are generated like once an hour based on another job that just it's called cleanups then aggregations. So it's like an aggregations job that like finds all the OS versions we have and puts the names and the counts here. Right, we have host counts. Right, that's what we're actually why this exists, is to show us how many hosts correspond to each OS. This is my dev instance. There's only one. Right, so it's to make this, it's to get these values, really. This host column, which only gets updated once an hour. Okay, let's back up. Just my general suspicion is maybe there's something else going on. But let me try to speed up a little bit. OS versions. We have the versions. Now we sort them. Either we sort them by host count. We always sort it by host count. Okay. We sorted by host count. I'm just thinking, this is deterministic. I think so. Because we first sorted by name, now we're sorting it by host count. Total count, paginate. Okay, maybe make a bug could be here. Okay, has previous results. I don't think. Let's assume page 0. So if page 0 we what? If per page equals 0, we return everything. This should not be the case. This is a case of. I mean, it feels like this is an error. I'm guessing that's not what's happening here, but maybe. Let me double check to see what the actual query is. If I have details. Order key, host count, order direction descending per page 0 per page 20. Okay, so page 0 per page 20. Page 0 per page 20. Start 0. 20, so 0 to 20. 0 to 20. That looks fine. I think I'm diving a little too into the weeds here. Okay, so we have data. Okay, so we have the data paged. List vulnerabilities. Populate only the paginated entries. Then we go through each one and we add some additional data here. This is fine. And then that's it. So this is presumably where all the performance issues are happening. Okay, we're coming in here. We only have 20 OS versions. Presumably this is set to true. I'm not sure why this is needed. Yeah, this is strange. I'm not sure why this is needed because we. Oh, okay. So maybe. I think in this example, we're not using team ID, so maybe that's part of the issue. Let me double check again. Yeah, so let's assume this is null. We're getting like all vulnerabilities for all the hosts for these OS versions. Batch by name and version. OS versions are in tuples, okay. Select name ID version from operating systems. Let me double check what's in that table. Operating systems. Name version. Yeah, we're just getting, what are we getting? We're getting the ID. Okay. So we're fetching the ID. Yeah, maybe for some reason, we got the aggregated data, but maybe the underlying data has changed. So we're basically just getting fresh data here. We just run it. Okay, so we get more details here. It's OS results for each. We do this key of a name and version. We check if it's Linux, that's fine. And then we get from operating system vulnerabilities, operating system in, operating system IDs, which we extracted up here. Okay, so this is the first potential issue. Let me see, kernel host count, operating system. I mean, if this is indexed by ID, I think OS ID, operating systems joined with kernel host count. Let me think. We'll check the chat. Okay. Let me think. Operating systems joined on kernel host count. Oh, okay. Hold on. Did I jump forward? Okay, so if we do Linux first, That's why. Kernel host count. Okay. Kernel host count joined on software ID. I'm sure this is indexed. We take the operating systems, which is 20 of them, and we get these items from software CVE table. Like, even if the software CVE table has like 10 million rows, we're grabbing, I guess I'll double check. We're grabbing software CVE, software ID, software CVE, okay. It is indexed by software ID CVE. So this is a fast lookup. And then kernel host counts. let me look at kernel host counts. Indexes, we're looking for software ID. There's software title ID. Okay, maybe that's foreign key, maybe? There is a foreign key. No, software title ID. Huh. Is this the issue? It's a potential issue. We're missing an index on software, on kernel host count software ID. We have a software title ID. We have this index on OS version ID, software ID, host count, OS version ID. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this is getting us the performance benefits. I mean, feels like it should. OS version ID, software ID, host count, OS version ID here, software ID here, host count here. Okay. So that's one question. Is this index actually performing? I mean, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. What I need to do is run and explain on this query. Let's just do it. I got some older stuff here. I think I can delete all this. All right. So this is the query, OS ID in operating systems. I have a tab, operating systems. The problem is if I run this on here, well, let's just do it, see what it says. I'm just thinking I don't have enough data here, so it might not be actually, you know, I need to run it on like a different server that has more OS IDs, but let's just do 3616 just so we have an example. 3616. We can just run this. Missing something. OS ID in Max. In aggregated query without group by. Not aggregated columns. What's going on? Missing some code. Kernel query. We don't care about the team. Group by. Okay. Group by. Yep. Run this. No vulnerabilities. Three, 616. Oh, I need these Ubuntu versions. Okay, how about this? 192427. 192427. 192427. Run this. Okay, we got a bunch of vulnerabilities. All right. And then we want to explain this. This is an IDE of sorts, so it can actually do this somehow. All right, I mean, I can do it up here, but there's like an integrated version to do and explain. If I remember how to do this. Is this it? No. Switch to chart, switch to table. Chart table. notes. Somehow I thought I could explain this query. All right, I don't remember the exact syntax. Let's do explain. Okay, table KHC, possible keys, key, using index. Can I see more of this? Using index, using where? It says using index. Is it using this index kernel host counts OS version? Is this the one? Index kernel host counts OS version software. Yes, this is the one we wanted to use. There's like a detailed explain. We got 3 minutes. I forgot what the detailed explain is. In MySQL, is there a detailed explain method for queries? Explain classic, yes, that's the one I just ran. And then there is explain extended, explain analyze. That's what I was thinking of. Explain analyze. Explain analyze. Okay, table scan. 376 rows. Temporary table, nested loop, inner join. Covering index scan. Covering index scan. Covering index scan. Like, I'm not an expert in this. I think I did this like, I do this rarely. Covering index scan, is that good? I'm seeing covering index scan. Is that the right thing to see if I want my query to be using a specific index? It doesn't feel right. Good sign. Index is covering the query. Yeah, okay. MySQL can satisfy the query using only the index. This is what we want. Index range scan. Index range, it has to scan the whole index, not like terrible. Oh, right, because we're not like using a min or max. Okay, this is fine. And then index lookup. Like this looks fine. Nested loop, nested loop. It just says nested loop inner join. I guess it's talking about this one. OS versions. Okay, I'm just trying to understand this. KHC version ID. We have all the KHCs. We have OS IDs. Once again, this is OS ID, this is OS version IDs, just because I'm renaming them. OS version ID, where geez, I forget, why do we have a version ID and why do we have an ID? Ooh, over time. I'm gonna have to drop off. I have another meeting I'm hosting. Thank you everyone for joining. This is what happens when you're having fun. You get deep into an issue. All right. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully. Bye.